Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, May 4th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. No, I will not say May the 4th be with you.
Why not?
I guess I just did. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day presented by FanDuel. Mac, we have NBA playoffs to discuss, Stanley Cup playoffs as well, and another System Sunday in Major League Baseball. We start in the NBA playoffs, though, Mac, where we had game sevens yesterday, one between the Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic. Detroit winning 116-94. And the other game seven, the Cavaliers, a 114-102 victory over the Toronto Raptors. Let's start with the Magic over the Pistons. After what we saw in game number 6, where Orlando had a 24-point lead, a chance to close out that series, only to have one of the worst second half performances you will ever see in a basketball game, let alone an NBA game, let alone an NBA playoff game. Did the result in game 7 surprise you?
It didn't surprise me, but I think it's not because the Magic are an 8 seed and the Pistons are a 1 seed. I think it's because the Magic didn't have their best player by something like estimated plus minus. Franz Wagner's been their best player. I know Paolo Banchero put up 38 in a loss, but efficiency-wise, how good he is to your team, he was out for the Magic, and yeah, they got blown out. And with the Raptors, for my money, Brandon Ingram, whether or not he got the ball or not, was the best player for that team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the favorites won across the board, except for the Celtics, or you could say the better team won. I remember the beginning of the playoffs. Some podcaster, I think it was Zach Lowe, was like, well, at the end of these series, the better team, the healthier team usually wins. That's usually the same thing, but I don't know. I think it's more the healthier team these days.
Well, Mackenzie, we came into this NBA playoffs having seen 298 playoff series that had a 3-1 lead. And of those 298, only 13 teams had come back from 3-1 down to win their series. Well, in these playoffs, we saw 1, 2, 3 series that had 5 series, that had the 3-1 lead. And we had 2 comebacks in both the Philadelphia 76ers and the Detroit Pistons. Do you think that this is something that we're going to see more often now? Because it just felt like maybe in years past, the better teams just always won the series. You had
Yep.
the Cavs coming back, you had the Warriors coming back, right? We've seen, good teams just fall behind. But now with the way that the NBA exists now, with the margin of victories that exist now, are we going to see more better teams punting on games, falling behind in series, and then coming back to win them?
I don't think it's because of that. I think in this playoffs, if I would underscore that the teams that lost the 3-1 lead were without their best players. The Magic were without their best player. The Celtics were without their best player. I know not for all of it for the Celtics, but I think that has a large thing to do with it. And in the Celtics case, you could say the biggest difference was that the 3-1 lead was created with a Joel Embiid-less Sixers.
Yeah.
So I actually think the margin of victory, the more possessions, a higher pace, allows the better team to rise to the top, especially with 7 games. I still think it should be 5 games, but I actually think the style of play should help favorites, at least in the series, getting to the finish line. But then you got to stay healthy.
Well, now that the first round is complete, let's review the numbers. 48 games in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and the winning team was 43-5 against the spread. So
Okay.
only 5 times did the underdogs lose but cover the spread. Totals went 27-21 to the under. Favorites 27-21 straight up, 22-26 against the spread, and home teams 29-19 straight up, 28-20 against the spread. I tweeted something out, Mackenzie, over the weekend that some people had some backlash to because of the fact that we had 2 Game 7s. But I was very critical of these NBA playoffs. The average margin of victory in these playoffs has been 14 points. And I said, wow, the NBA playoffs have been like so competitive. Like, please, let's get more play in teams. Like, this has been such a great playoffs. And people are like, stop being sarcastic. Like, we have Game 7s. Like, yes, this has been a good playoffs. I don't think we have had a good first round. As I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
average margin of victory is 14 points. We had some teams that had injuries, and it changed the course of series. Joel Embiid
Some
being out.
teams.
Yes.
Which series wasn't dramatically impacted by the best player, the second best player going out? Like Knicks Hawks,
No.
which by the way
Yep.
was like a record point differential for a 6-game
Yes.
series. But
Yes.
I mean, every single series, Anthony Edwards can't go. Jason Tatum can't go.
Yep.
It's not like like every other series. Yeah, I don't think this has been a great playoffs just because we have Game 7s. But people will say it's a great game because it's close in the last 5 minutes. Like some
Mhm.
fans are just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
rudimentary arithmetic. I disagree, but it's hard to tell the difference. But yes, Game 7s are the best 2 words in sports for a reason.
Yeah. I just think we've had pathetic performances in these NBA playoffs. I mean, I guess two things can be true. You can have some exciting games, but you can also have just the playoffs being non-competitive as a whole. You can still have non-competitive series that go 7 games where
Spurs Blazers was not a competitive series. I think it was one of the better series. Like just both teams playing near their
Mhm.
best versions of their basketball. That's but yeah, I mean in the first round, I can't wait to see Spurs Thunder, but
Mhm.
in the second round we have 14 15-point favorites. So I mean this is not
Yeah.
usual in terms of competition level in the NBA.
Well,
And
let's
it
talk about.
has everything to do with injuries.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of that history here in the second round, Mackenzie. We have 2 games on the schedule for tonight. The Knicks, 7.5-point favorites at home against the Philadelphia 76ers in their Game 1. The San Antonio Spurs, 13.5-point favorites over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then tomorrow, the Pistons, 3.5-point favorites over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Oklahoma City Thunder, 15.5-point favorites over the Los Angeles Lakers. And I did see Ben Fox, who now works for Yahoo, who tweeted out the Lakers that they opened up as a 16-point dog in game number
Mhm.
1. It's the biggest underdog LeBron James has ever been in a playoff game in his career. The previous high was 12.5 in game 1 of the 2018 finals versus Golden State.
That's a huge
Uh,
difference. Four,
and
4 point difference. It's like a
yes,
33% difference.
yeah, and it's incredible, like, how historic some of these odds are with, the prices, for just the series and for each individual game. So here's the series prices on all these series before we get to some, your thoughts on the games for tonight. We'll start in the Eastern Conference where the Knicks minus 270 over the 76ers and the Pistons minus 120 over the Cavs. In the Western Conference, the Spurs are minus 1,200 to win the series against the Timberwolves. The Thunder are minus 1,600 to win the series against the Lakers. I mean, come on.
Anthony Edwards out. Definitely Game 1, Game 2. Luca doesn't sound like he's likely to play before Game 5.
Mm,
Seems about right. I would say, if gun to my head, I'd probably take the Lakers. I think they have upside. LeBron's been there before. He's going to have that muscle memory. Austin Reeves can get hot. The Thunder can get a little fidgety in the second round. We've seen before and later. Lost to a Mavericks team they probably shouldn't have. The Spurs minus 1,200 is something you can throw on any parlay. I
okay.
just don't see how they, with or without Ant. I don't see how any because they're going to play to the Spurs' advantage. I think
Hmm.
they're going to play a little of a slower paced game. I don't think they'll have enough offense to keep up with San Antonio. So I think that one's a lock. The Knicks Sixers is very interesting. I think the Sixers are live.
Mm.
Talent wise, I mean, they just match up okay, plus 220. But I think they lose Game 1. Coming from that emotional high, finally beating Boston in Boston. Um, I think they lose game one. Coming off of game seven is a good trend regardless, but I think especially that game seven.
Yeah.
And then I think you might want to hop in on the Sixers down 0-1 at 4-1 or better.
All right. Well, speaking of coming off the game seven, here is the history of it. I looked it up in the database all time going back to the early 2000s. I'm seeing 2002 is what I'm seeing here. If you're coming off of a game seven and your opponent is not coming off of a game seven, right? Because sometimes you're both coming off of a game seven. Okay. So
Right.
in these playoffs, like the only instance would be, I guess, the 76ers and the Knicks. This is obviously what we're talking about for tonight's game. Straight up, those teams coming off the game seven are 20 and 38 straight up, 23, 34, and 1 against the spread. Now, I dove a little bit deeper. If you are on the road in the game one of the next series, coming off of the game seven against the opponent, not off the game seven, 9 and 27 straight up, 15 and 21 against the spread. And I just went even further. Why not? If you were away in that game seven previously, 4 and
Interesting.
11 straight up, but 7 and 8 ATS. So go figure.
Interesting. Well, you would be a big dog usually, like the Sixers are. I don't think this game two line or this game five line will be at 7.5. Like I
Hmm.
said, talent wise, I think these teams are. I don't know about equal. I mean, it's a big if to say the Sixers are healthy throughout, but if they are, if you double line underline that IFF, yeah, I think they are equal talent wise. So, like I said, you want to dive in game two on the spread or maybe on the Sixers to win the series? I think they're live.
Yeah, I would just think that you're right. For tonight's game one, the numbers are just too in favor of the Knicks here, with this fading the Sixers here coming off of the game number seven. By the way, those teams that are coming off the game number seven, as I mentioned, and that are on the road for game number one, they're averaging 97 points per game. But I understand a lot of that could be different era, a little bit
Yeah.
early 2000s. So since the 2021 season, well, those teams, it's only 3 and 5 straight up. So we only have 8 instances. They're averaging 106.3. So a little bit higher scoring in recent seasons, but the
And the
average,
Knicks,
yeah,
they've lost games very close this playoffs and historically versus the Pacers last year. When they win, they usually win comfortably.
yes.
They don't like close games. So yeah, I don't mind laying the number here with the
I don't
Knicks.
mind it either. I mean, and you're right. I mean, their margins have been incredible. They're the number one net rating team in the NBA right now in the playoffs. It's unbelievable. And then the Spurs, 13 and a half is a big number, but game one, no Anthony Edwards. I just don't see
I
Minnesota
think
coming out and competing.
I don't think they compete either. 13.5 is kind of the right number though. I mean,
Hmm.
even if they're down 20 in the fourth quarter, they're live.
Yeah.
Um, and the number is awfully low. I mean, this is a lot of respect for the Timberwolves defense at 217.5, but I would lean under.
What do you think about the Knicks total? 212.5.
I would lean over. That
So would I.
seems very very high. I
Yeah.
mean, there was became a rock fight with the Celtics, but those teams know each other very well.
Hmm.
I think they're more in a natural state, neutral state, prone to run.
Yeah, I think so as well. Stanley Cup playoffs last night was one of the craziest games like I've ever been a part of, like betting wise. And for Better Day Insider and Premium members, we had the Minnesota Wild plus a
You
goal and
laughed
a
at
half.
my over 14.5. You
Yeah,
laughed at it.
I did. We had the Minnesota Wild plus a goal and a half that looked like it was dead in the first period when Minnesota was down 3-0 before you could even blink. And all of a sudden, at the end of the first period, Minnesota was only down 3-2. And then the second period happened, and we're chatting in the Better Day community chat. Do you think, that was an incredibly high scoring first period, 5 goals? Does it slow down? Yeah, maybe it slows down. Oh, no, 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 no. This was never slowing down. Colorado takes a 4-2 lead. That became 4-3. That became 4-4. Then Minnesota took a 5-4 lead. Now we're cooking with gas, Mackenzie.
Wow, 5-4 from down 0-3.
Then Colorado ties it 5-5. That's where we headed into the third period, where the floodgates just opened. 3 minutes in, Cale Makar scores a goal to make it 6-5. And then Nazem Kadri adds another goal 2 minutes later to make it 7-5. Then what a fluky goal it was, but this is the type of game where fluky goals happened. Minnesota on a bouncing puck gets the goal to make it 7-6 with 4 minutes remaining. All of a sudden, we were alive, then we were dead, alive, winning, dead, alive. Now we're thriving. All we just needed is to avoid the empty net. Well, it didn't even take the empty net, Mackenzie. Cale Makar scored again for Colorado at, even strength. And then, of course, the empty net goes in for Nathan MacKinnon. 9-6 the final in one of the craziest games that you will ever see in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Colorado scored 9 goals, Mackenzie, in this game number 1. Montreal beat Tampa Bay in their game 7, 2-1. Montreal had 9 total shots on goal in the win. Colorado scored 9 goals.
Avalanche are a different beast.
Montreal only had 9 shots on goal, and Montreal still won, which was incredible. 2-1 victory over Tampa Bay. But this is what I've said about Colorado all along, which is why it's going to be incredibly difficult for anybody to beat them in a 7-game series. I said they are the ultimate hybrid team. They can beat you in a multitude of ways. If you want to play a track meet like last night, they can beat you. I said 7-4, but 9-6 they beat you. And if you want to play a low-scoring, grinded-out game, they can beat you 1-0. They are so good at adapting to different styles of play. They can beat you in any which way. And, watching that team last night, Mackenzie, it's hard to picture any team beating them 4 out of 7 games.
So the 2023 Bruins were the last team to have a better goals scored and goals scored against.
Mm-hmm.
They famously bowed out round 1.
Yep.
And after that, as a casual hockey fan, I'm like, oh yeah, because the regular season doesn't matter. But it seems like, we get sucked in every year. The Avalanche are that different beast. Call it right now, Avalanche versus the field. We'll give you the old Tiger Woods question. Are they that good?
Hockey's so fickle that anything could happen. I don't know if I do versus, they're plus 195, but that's the same odds as the Carolina Hurricanes as well. Carolina also.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Carolina.
The hype train is different on those two.
Yeah, but Carolina.
vessels.
But Carolina has a 1-0 lead in their series, and they're overwhelming favorites to win their series against the Flyers. So they're kind of expected to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Once they both advance, we'd expect the Avalanche to be bigger favorites.
Yes. If they both advance. Yeah. I think if it's Colorado versus Carolina in the Stanley Cup Final, like Colorado's going to be the favorite. There's no team that Colorado's going to be a dog against. Like that's
except for VGK. If they're smart.
VGK, by the way, plus 700 to win the Cup. Montreal, who advances after beating Tampa, plus 950. And the Buffalo Sabres, plus 1,200. Minnesota, after dropping game 1, plus 1,400 to win the Cup. It's hard to bet on anybody except for the Avalanche. And last night was just unbelievable. Really, just I'm still in shock. Given what we saw and the sweat that we had to go through. Tonight, Flyers at the Hurricanes, game number 2, Carolina minus 258. And it's game 1 here in Vegas, the Golden Knights against the Ducks, VGK minus 166. This series, to me, is going to play out like almost identical to how the Utah series played out. Like Vegas had a difficult time with Utah. Yeah, big win in game number 6, but every other game was very competitive. Could have gone either way. We obviously had the 2 overtime games, the 1 double overtime game.
Yep.
And Anaheim and Utah, very similar teams. And Vegas has had trouble with Anaheim this year. So I'd be a little hesitant on just firing away on the Golden Knights to win this. 3 games this season against Anaheim. Vegas lost the first game 4-3 in overtime. They lost the second game 4-3 in overtime. They lost the third game 4-3 straight up. So 0-3 against the Anaheim Ducks this year, and all of them 4-3. So how about that?
Give me VGK in regulation because I don't want them in overtime. So give me VGK in regulation.
All right, let's talk Major League Baseball, Mackenzie, where it was another system Sunday. The under systems, when we're talking about the teams that are looking to avoid the sweep, this is something that we've been doing. Better Day Insider and premium members are well aware of this. There were 9 games yesterday where teams were looking to complete a 3-game sweep. Now, we did not play all 9 games to go under, but we probably should have because it went 7-2 to the under yesterday, Mackenzie. We were selective and we only played 3 of the unders. and we had a clean sweep 3-0. One of the games that was looking for a sweep that went over was a game that we actually did play the over, and that was at Wrigley between the Cubs and the Diamondbacks because there was crazy winds blowing out. Total was 11.5, but even that game, we had to get lucky with a 2-out home run in the ninth inning in order to push that total over the 11.5, 8-4. The Cubs beat the Diamondbacks. So
where could I get such information, like where the wind's blowing out in Wrigley?
Well, you can just log on to the MLB Game Center up on BetterDay.com, exclusive for Better Day Insider and premium members.
To have all in one place right there.
Yeah,
okay,
Park Factors, all included. In fact, I think we projected the Cubs for like 8.4 runs, and they scored 8 runs yesterday. So it was pretty good. But now this season, the under system, 43, 28, and 2. That is about 60.6% to the under. Pretty good.
Pretty not bad.
Yeah, not bad. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, more information always available on our MLB Game Center, our NBA Game Center as well, of course, with all the player prop projections, and it's all available for you, all the tools and resources up on betterday.com. Now, we made an announcement last Friday on Friday's pod about Mackenzie Rivers and his future status here on this Better Day podcast. And Mac unfortunately had to attend to something on Friday, and so we couldn't just do the show and make we wanted to make the announcement because obviously we had to make the announcement, but we had to have another show, so that's why Mackenzie was here with us this morning. He will not be with us, though, tomorrow morning, and not for quite a few mornings, because Mackenzie, let the audience know.
Because my morning will be like 5 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys and vice versa. I'll be on the other side of the world working in gaming, but on the other side of the counter, as it were, doing some research for some folks about, what you guys are doing out there as bettors. And of course, more importantly, what operators are doing and making sure you guys are protected and doing the right things and all having fun out here in the candy land of the of the world, which is sports and betting on it because it's fun. So It's been a big pleasure to be part of BetterDay.com and helping you guys bet better. And I will be back on before you know it. So
he is not going to be a stranger. He is not going to be a stranger, folks. He is not disappearing. This is not the last you will hear or see of Mackenzie Rivers on this podcast. But he, as Max said, he's going to be living on the other side of the world. So the time's not going to add up. But more importantly, obviously, he has a job, a very important job to attend to that requires all of his attention. And we will be lucky enough to get some of it when we can here throughout the NBA playoffs. And then, hopefully as we start our football prep this summer, still plenty to do. And we cannot.
Yeah, I get 2 free flights back. I'm thinking September. Football season. Would love to say hi to you guys.
Yes, we have so much to do here on this podcast, on the website as well for you guys as members. We can't do it without Mackenzie Rivers, and so Mac, you will not be This isn't goodbye. This is until next time when we speak, and which will be very, very soon. And we wish you the best of luck again. This does not exist without you, and it will not exist without you. So thank you from me. Thank you from our listeners. And I'll let some of the listeners chime in now. And we've actually have some special recorded messages that I'll play now for you, Mackenzie. So give a listen to this. That was a joke. I didn't have any listeners recording.
I know, right?
That's high-tech stuff. I was just trying to see your face, but no. But our members did have some very nice things to say.
On the Scantron.
Yeah. No, but our members did have very nice things to say in our Better Day community chat. If you are not in the Better Day community chat and you are already a Better Day insider member, what are you waiting for? The link is on the Telegram. Just join our community chat. Say hi. We interact all the time. And you can get a hold of Mackenzie on that community chat because he ain't going anywhere. So say hi to Mac on the chat, if you will. For Mackenzie Rivers, I am Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.